Hey team, we're working on color today, so I thought I would show you a couple places where you can play with color and then show you how to do a quick color removal. So when you have parts of the photo that are saturated with color but the rest is black and white, so it's actually not too terrible. The first place I would always go for color to get really vibrant color is I would go to Color Efex. It's just kind of my go-to place for anything color. It's just gonna load up here, just give it a second. Sorry, there's a bit of background noise. We have a bit of a construction zone at our school. Taking a little bit to load. Taking a lot to load. So I showed you guys bicolored filters before. Super awesome filter gallery where you can either enhance it or you can just enhance parts of it. So this isn't color removal. So maybe we'll just talk color for a second, then I'll show you color removal. Bicolor user defined is where you choose your own colors. So if I was going to say this, actually, let's do bright. And let's say the bottom we want to be yellow. Let's go here. So I can then change again sort of the opacity level, whether I want just a little bit or if I want just to not. Again, when you're stacking filters, using filters, just unclick if you like it, have it back. If I wanted to add another one to that, which I don't actually love that color, so I'm going to get rid of it. I could also go to Bleach Bypass is going to get rid of your color, so I wouldn't use that. But Brilliance and Warmth changes super warm, super cool, and can increase your saturation to ridiculous amounts. Or if you desaturated it, it goes all the way down. Okay, the next place you can go for color, I'm just scrolling down, is Colorize. This gives me some options, just sort of a little bit of a hue, but once I pick one, again there's unsaturated, but they kind of just have a color glow, but I can also pick how much I want it. So right now that's on a blue color frame, but if I then chose something else, like let's say I have pink, it's going to have sort of that glow. So if I have just a little bit, you can kind of see it getting pink, but if I go all the way, it can go crazy pink. You can play in Colorize. Contrast color range is just going to work in the color of the contrast area, so I don't know that that's actually going to make a bit of change. You can kind of play with it. Gives you more contrast at the same time, though, from no contrast to lots. If you go down, scroll. If you had something that was just working with greens, if you look, it just actually changes most of the green. It doesn't actually change the rest, but it's got 3 different types of green. So what that's really good for is it picks up foliage without just doing a general saturation that makes it look a little bit crazy. What else do we have that's super colory? I think those are probably, pastels are going to give you like a really like light kind of color, just a little bit softer. Just trying to think of what else we have here that would work really well for you. Those are probably the best to work at for color. Now I also wanted to show you what it would look like to take the color out of something. So like there's still, and again you can play in here again for color too, like you have before in hue and saturation, in vibrance. So let's crank up the vibrance. I usually do the vibrance change a bit because it gives you better color without, because if you oversaturate just using saturation, looks a little bit, you can kind of tell the difference, right? Like it gets crazy, but vibrance is more of a just sort of enhancing button. Okay, so let's say I want everything to be black and white except for this little leaf right here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to make a copy of the image, and I'll show you what I mean when I say that. So this is your cropping tool. I'm going to crop the whole thing. I'm going to go edit. I'm going to go copy. And now you're going to see, I'm going to go edit, paste, and now you're going to see another layer pop up here. Except for it all just went super wonky on me. Why is it doing that? So let's see. This just got really weird. I wonder if this is just my computer because it should not have. Okay, let's try this again. I'm not really sure why it's doing that. Actually, maybe we should merge our layers first. If you run into problems, sometimes it helps to just flatten your image. Okay, now now let's try. Sorry folks, problem solving in action. Edit, copy, edit, paste, exactly. Okay, so it doesn't look like it, but I actually have two pictures. They're just identical. But what I want to do is I want to change one of them. And I'm going to change the top layer, so layer 1. And you can do this a bunch of different ways. So I think the easiest way to go though is through Nik and then through Viveza. You can do it in color effects too, but I think Viveza is smaller and it's a little less resource heavy. And I'm going to desaturate it. So I'm making the wholesale changes. I'm going to take it all the way to no saturation. I'm going to click OK. And then we're just going to wait a second. Okay, so now you can see the difference between this layer, background layer. So what you're going to do is you're going to erase. You're going to go to your erase tool and you can see the difference. Why is it not working? Okay, let's try with Viveza. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you're going to go to your top layer, which is the Viveza tool, and you're just going to paint what you want color in. So you're going to go Control plus, because I kind of want to get some better detail. It's really easy to do it like this, but it's not easy to do extreme clarity. The thing I would recommend up here is you switch it to a soft focus, then your hardness is really low and you're going to get a little more clarity in the lines, and then you can just paint it in. It's kind of painstaking work, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit detailed. I'm going to show you another way to do it, but this is actually the way that you're going to get the less harsh edges. I'm going to show you how to do it with the select tool. But to be honest, it doesn't get you as quality of a thing. So like if you're willing to invest a little more time, not now, you see I need to probably go smaller here too. It is sort of painstaking to do it really well. So then you can be a little more liberal once you've got it in there. I'm probably gonna need to go smaller because I still want to get like these little lines done. And if I was gonna do it like a really good job, like something that I actually wanted to print, I would zoom in to the pixel level and I would start there because I would really want it to be detailed and I don't want my edges to be evident. But I'm going to do a quick job because you don't really need to see me take 5 years to do it, and that's kind of what it feels like. Do your base job first and then just paint it in. Probably even go bigger than that, but I'm just showing you a quick job. This is not perfection in the happening. You can see where if you were zoomed in and you were actually doing a really like attention to detail job, how this could take a long time. But I'm just going to show you a quick job. Okay, so this is kind of like our fast job, Control minus to get out. So there you've got sort of your image and you've got a part. So you can choose what you have in color and what you have in not. If I did everything, then everything's going to erase it. So what it's doing is it's actually erasing that top layer, but I don't want that, so I'm going to leave it at that. Now I'm going to open up another image and I'm going to show you a different way to do it, which is kind of a quick fix, but it's also not giving you quite as nice of an image. So let's use Sydney's picture. Really like this picture, by the way, super awesome. Okay, so you're going to use this guy, which is kind of your smart select tool. Now you're going to sort of go really slowly, and again, it really helps if you go Control plus. So you can define your borders, and you're just gonna click on everything that you want to include. It's gonna look for natural lines, like it's gonna see that this is darker than the rest, and it's gonna make some judgment calls for you. This does not always work 1000%. Sometimes its judgment calls are not awesome, but most of the time if it's a clear line color difference, it will work. You can see there it didn't because it's getting a little darker on the side, which means it's a little trickier, but you can click there again too, not perfectly. So if I was zoomed in better and if it was a clearer line, it would work better. So I'm going to leave it there just so you can see it, but I would spend a lot more time making that perfect if I was actually going to do it. So once I've got that, I can then, maybe I want this to be black and white. I just have this thing adjusted, so then I could go to something like saturation, and I could bring down the saturation for that. Or if you wanted it the other way, where this was in color and the rest wasn't, you're just going to go edit, step backwards. I would do it the other way. So I'd go to this, which is kind of like your little brush. It's your smart select tool. And I would put everything around the pine cone. and then I would do the same thing where I would do saturation and I would desaturate everything else. So like I said, it's kind of a quick fix. It does a good job in finding the layers, but it doesn't always. It does really well. Like if this was, I'm just going to show you one back. If the background was very, very pale and there was quite a difference between it, it would be able to tell those lines a little bit better. You can also do this, which is a little bit more picky. Again, I think it's actually better to erase, but you can customly select and draw your select tool. As long as you close it, it works well, but I actually feel like this is a little more painstaking than actually just erasing it. So you've got kind of 3 ways to do it to remove your color. By adding, I'm just going to zoom out again here. Edit, undo. By adding a whole other layer. Just remember that before you do that edit copy, you're going to go to layers and you're going to flatten, because you want to show, this is the first time you're actually playing in layers. And you want it to just be a background image. So you're going to go here, you're going to highlight it all in the crop, you're going to go edit, you're going to go copy, you're going to go edit, you're going to go paste. Now you can see this. So now you can make the changes here. You could also just play with this layer. Instead of going to Viveza, you could just go saturate, easy peasy, and then go to your eraser tool and just paint in what you want the color with. So those are a few options for how you can do color removal and some color adjustments. So have fun playing with color, try to get some different schemes like monochromatic or analogous, and have a good time. Looking forward to see them posted.